Shut up and sit down.
Lava Man champion, let's welcome in Matt Lieto!
Hey, this is Matt Lieto, coming from Tempe.
Triathletes are notoriously stiff, they really are, and they're a little bit compulsive. But you managed to cut through that, and that's obviously how you deal with the miles and doing all the training in the racing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, people ask me how I get through the tough spots in racing, and it's usually finding somebody to make fun of during the race or doing something like that, right? So
Joining me now is professional triathlete Matt Lieto, one of the race favorites here.
Lieto trying to get his shoes on and he's off. Matt Lieto, first off chances, and there goes Matt.
12 years ago, watched my brother race Ironman World Championships. I was 250 pounds. Long story short, I went home and changed my diet and changed my life. Hi, I'm Matt Lieto, and I'm
You, my friend, are listening to the Dialed Podcast with Matt Legrand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von During. Cheers and enjoy.
Hi, and welcome back to the Dialed Podcast. We have a little special episode for you. Today I'm here with Lance Hepler,
Lance Romance.
Evan Price.
How's it going?
Matt Legrand.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet?
And I am Jake Von During. Howdy. Welcome back. We have a very cool interview that Lance was able to land when he was out at Rebecca's Private Idaho. Lance, why don't you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, I was able to wrangle Matt Lieto to talk with for a few minutes. Matt Lieto is a former professional triathlete who hails from the Bend area, and he actually was one of the top finishers at the race, and I got yakking at him at a cocktail party one night, and he actually agreed to listen, have me interview him.
That was my question. Is it hard to be like, hey, can I interview you for my podcast?
Yes.
Is it awkward?
Well, I had my wife with me, and my wife is a lot more social than I am,
She is
actually.
she's outgoing.
Yes.
A social butterfly.
Yeah, and so in social situations, she just shines.
Yeah.
And so we're just talking with people and whatnot, and I was able to connect with them well enough that when I actually said, hey, would you mind me interviewing for a few minutes? They were like, yeah, sure, no problem.
Nice.
So the trick was to be able to corner them to actually do it.
Yeah.
So when we actually did the interview, it was right during the awards ceremony after the last day. So as you listen to the beginning of the interview, you can hear all this chatter in the background, and it's actually Rebecca Rush doing some of the
pre-award
stuff. And so there's a lot of noise. Also during the interview, we get interrupted by Steve Perino, another guy that we.
That's for those who don't know who Steve Perino is. Anybody care to enlighten us?
Evan? Oh, I mean, well, we can. Lance, go ahead.
Steve,
you're the one who we interrupted.
Steve was one of the NBC commentators for the Tour de France.
Still is,
this year. Yeah, so
a voice that I'm very, very familiar with from that era.
He was the guy on the motorcycle that they'd video.
Yeah, he'd be sitting in the back of the motorcycle.
If you think about that interview there, you have Matt Lieto
that's what I was just thinking
and Steve
right?
both there. That's the voice of the Tour de France and one of the voices of Kona and the new 73 World Championship.
And Rebecca Rush talking in the
Rebecca
background.
Rush
Yeah. And he does a good job on. I mean, I guess I've only heard him do the past like 2 Konas or whatever. You know, he does this live broadcast, and I think he does a really nice job with that.
He does.
So and I would say otherwise if it was the case. It's just nice to have someone that knows what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Actually, and I'm sure everyone tells them the same thing. It's like, oh, it's nice that someone actually knows what they're talking about. That's doing the Kona, discussion as the race is going on. It's really hard to talk for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's a long time.
So cool. Well, without further ado, let's let you listen to this little clip, and we'll be back in just a few.
All right. Well, this is Lance Hepler on location. Thanks for listening to the Dialed Podcast. I am doing another in my series of Lance Romance interviews cool people. So that's what we've got going.
Oh boy.
I'm here today with Matt Lieto. I'd like to call you a professional triathlete. Am I allowed to call you a professional triathlete?
I mean, probably not. No. There was a time, but that time has passed.
Matt is a super cool guy. We have both been here in Ketchum, Idaho, competing in the Queen Stage race of the Rebecca's Private Idaho Gravel race. Matt crushed me, which was expected.
Oh, I didn't know you were in the competition.
Dang it. Yes, that is correct. I was in the competition. competition.
Okay.
Matt took second overall, I believe, and I ended up 15th.
Oh.
So it was...
Oh, we didn't talk about today's stage.
We didn't know. Oh, well, let's do that.
How was today's stage?
Well, I actually had a great day. I loved it. I ended up hooking up with Yuri for about 60 miles.
Sweet.
So me and Yuri and who were we with? Sarah. I think she ended up 4th.
Max. Yep.
Yeah.
She did.
The three of us just pace lined for like 60 miles.
Good folks.
Yeah. So it was really good. They really helped me. I helped them. Then they both dropped me on the last climb, which was expected, and it was all good. Tell me about your race. Tell me how it went.
Yeah, good day. I made all the selections. We had a group of 5 over the top. The first climb is like, a 25-minute climb?
Yeah.
Chasing kind of skinnier and faster guys than me up that climb. And kind of things came together. Most of the day we had a group of 15, but a couple times it went down to a group of 5. And then with like 30 miles to go, a guy that I'd done some little attacks with went away solo. And the group kind of sat up, and then we kind of
let him go.
Let him go, and he deserved it. He was killing it all day, and was kind of like, every time he'd get brought back, he'd wait 12 seconds and then go again.
Oh, wow.
But with like 20 miles to go, I initiated kind of a attack that tried to technically bridge up to him, but he was too far gone, and got rid of the other guys, and ended up me, Josh Berry, and Payson McElwain sprinting for second, and shocker, I got 4th. Turns out ex-triathletes are not great at sprinting.
Those triathlete legs aren't real good for high power output. Is that what it is?
No, there's some technical aspects to my sprint I need to work on. Let's say that. But I'm punching above my weight. Those two guys are way better cyclists than me, so it was sweet to be there, and moved up to second in GC in the stage race, which was kind of my goal, so it was sweet.
You've kind of recently got into gravel stuff. What kind of prompted that? How did that go?
Yeah, I've always road raced and kind of considered myself a cyclist at heart, and a triathlete, kind of because I was mediocre as a cyclist. So turns out if you're mediocre at swimming, biking, and running, you can be also a mediocre professional triathlete. Did that for a bunch of years, but road racing to me is sweet, but over the last couple of years, it seems like the races have gotten shorter and it's less about attrition, and the strong man doesn't often win.
Right.
Where gravel racing I've been doing for the last 3 or 4 years, and the strong man has a real good chance of winning. So that's been kind of fun for me. And as you know, like when things settle on a gravel ride and it gets back to a group, you're still pushing way more watts than you would on the road.
Correct.
So it's essentially a very, very long time trial. So the fact that I can pull out 300 and whatever watts for 5 hours with some efforts in makes me pretty good at gravel.
That you can do that. Yeah. That's just fantastic.
And it's fun. And the biggest thing is I think honestly the reason I came for the stage race was it gave me 4 days to hang out with rad people instead of just one. And that's kind of the deal.
Right. Yeah. This has just been a fantastic event. The people I've met, being around Rebecca for a bit, Rebecca Rush, it has just been really cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, a bunch of really cool people, and it tends not to be. Today we had some of it because there were some road racers in, and just people that hadn't been around for the stage race, where it's tactical and where most of us weren't kind of down for that, and that created some issues. But generally, people want to support. I'm giving my water bottle to somebody else because they're thirsty, or or vice versa. A lot of stuff like that.
There was a little bit of sharing like that.
Yeah, it's just a cooler vibe. You want to see everybody do well, and you want to do the best you can, but you're not going to spite somebody for you to do better than them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But, I know you hail from Bend, Oregon.
I do.
Which is a great place to live.
Terrible place to live.
Nobody go there. Please, everybody stay away.
It's not nearly as cool as Boulder.
Right, exactly.
Go to Boulder, it's sweet.
All the endurance athletes end up in Boulder, right?
Yeah. All the good ones.
You have this great story that prompted your triathlon career, and you've probably been asked about it 1,000 times. I wonder if you could summarize it for us.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. It's definitely probably what I'm most proud of as an athlete, and accomplishment. It's pretty far removed at this point. It's been 18 years or something because I'm old AF, as the kids say. But yeah, I went to Kona in 1998 to watch my brother race the World Championships, and he was not a hack at the time, but it was his first one. And getting heckled right now by legend Steve Farino.
Steve Farino, you're next, Steve. You just wait.
What's he been telling you?
Dude, I'm not saying anything.
Not with Steve Farino staring at us.
Tell him anything. I'm so used to people not telling me anything. I work at like cycling. Say something fancy.
Lead me in, like make me sound important.
Oh, did he tell you his history though?
Well, I was just getting to that, and you interrupted it, Steve. That's right.
See, I'm not
lead into the history.
This is like the Tour de France. Like, there's someone really polite will be asking a question, and like the producer's like, "You got to get in there and ask the question."
This is gold.
So like skyhook with the microphone, like, "What are your plans today?" And he says, "I'm not telling you, man. I'm telling you." Anyway, get into the history. It's good.
I know.
Okay, we'll get back to the history.
We'll get back to the history.
Steve Farino, everybody. Actual legend. Watched my brother race Ironman Hawaii in '98. It was his first time racing back in the day.
This is Chris Lieto. And he ended up like
second was
on the
his
day.
best performance.
Fantastic.
One of the closest
cyclist, right?
One of the closest to winning, but not ever.
Yeah.
He won 2 world championships to Craig Alexander, or got second in 2 world championships to Craig Alexander in that manner. But anyways, his first time he raced, he was mediocre age grouper, but I was 250 pounds. And, was inspired by kind of the whole scene, and went back home to Flagstaff, Arizona, where I was going to school, and skateboarded 5 hours a day, changed my diet, and 6 months later was 175 pounds and started training for triathlon.
Really?
And like a lot of stuff you wouldn't have assumed happened to me in the last 18 years.
It was just I've got these genes that my brother, I obviously got some genes that my brother has.
No, absolutely not. No, I mean, at no point would I was I like, oh, I think I want to do the Ironman.
Okay.
It was mostly like just being ignited by the passion that those people had,
right,
and seeing that energy and not wanting to be like a fat piece of shit.
A triathlon finish line is a pretty inspiring place to be.
It's pretty cool, and honestly, that finish line did inspire me. And I've been lucky enough to be a professional triathlete for I don't know how long, too long probably, and now a commentator, and I get the best access to that race on the planet, and
That's
I'm
just fantastic.
inspired by it every year.
Yeah, well, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, thank you very much for joining me.
Yeah,
I
no
certainly
worries.
appreciate it.
What's the next race I get to beat you at? I mean, race you
Oh, very good. Well, I'm going to be racing cross the rest of this season.
Dang it. Well, you'll probably beat me there.
Are you going to race some cross races?
Well, my best buddy's Carl Decker, and he's got GP Carl Decker this year, so I've got to do
I skipped the first race to be here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll link up, and you'll beat me at that race.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, thank you very much.
Appreciate
it. You bet.
So that was Lance Romance interviewing Mr. Matt Lieto
on location.
On location.
We're sitting on a hay bale in the middle of a field.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was.
That could be a country song, Lance.
So, Evan, you and I have both raced him in triathlon, right? Have you raced him? I know.
Loosely.
I know I've raced him a couple times.
I've been in a race that he was in.
Yeah, exactly. Like he gets out of the water before me, and it's see you later. So, yeah. But
I like hearing his backstory. That backstory is so you'll find that in the top end of triathlon. There are some interesting backstories.
Absolutely.
There really, I mean, there are some backstories you look at. You're like, you think, oh, this guy had to have come from like Division I running and was a state champion high school swimmer, right? And it's like, nope. He was 250 pounds and out of shape. And
I know. I think I knew that he was overweight before. Like, if you follow him on Strava, I feel like he has like a chubby picture. Anyway? But I don't think I have actually really heard him tell the backstory. And I know probably everyone else that knows Matt Lieto has probably heard the story a couple times or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But I had not really heard the full story. So it was kind of nice to actually have him, say whatever it is, go through the process of watching his brother and World Championships in Kona and the whole game.
Yeah.
And I mean, just like any of us, right? You can be inspired at a finish line. So it's cool. Super cool story.
What is he doing professionally now? Is that his profession is commentary?
Yeah, he's doing that. He's got a couple other things, fired up. He's still living in Bend.
He also coaches triathlon.
Yeah, he does.
I had considered tried to talk to him or whatever, but I don't know if he's really taking on athletes or not. But I don't know.
He just pulled back from professional racing last year.
I think it was last year was his last season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. What was his biggest accomplishment again?
Racing wise?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm not sure if Matt was ever the guy winning races. He never, I mean, like he did a lot of, I think he did the Escape series for a bit. He did Alcatraz consistently. He did Wildflower, I know. He kind of did a lot of, kind of the style of racing that anybody who follows triathlon like that Jesse Thomas kind of followed. You know, did some longer distance stuff, wasn't afraid to mix it up in the Olympic distance non-draft. But I don't think Matt was winning a lot of those races. Now, his brother, like he mentioned, Chris Lieto, is a legend in Kona because he held the bike course record for a very long period of time.
Huh.
And Matt and Chris both have lethal bike legs.
Just uber cyclists.
In the triathlon world, yeah.
Gotcha.
Both absolutely incredible cyclists. So,
which is why he's still out there gravel grinding
exactly
and joining in these
doesn't
kinds
surprise
of
me.
races.
He's putting out 300 watts for 5 hours.
Yeah, I think I remember, like a lot of times you'll have some of these pros that aren't necessarily winning Kona, but they will win an Ironman race. And I can't think of an Ironman race that he won off the top of my head. I kind of feel like he
was
hit,
competitive enough.
Oh,
there,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like
on
he
the
would,
national circuit at least.
Absolutely, yeah. But I mean, it's kind of, I feel like it was like kind of like that, get a second place a couple times here and there. And some of the big races, maybe even like Wildflower top couple, and then podium at Ironman stuff in Escape from Alcatraz. I feel like he's done some really big races and done really well. I just can't think of any like super big victories off the top of my head. Yep.
Gotcha.
But yeah, big like stalwart just in the triathlon community, I would say.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously now that he's doing, the Kona and 73 Worlds, Broadcast and Lance, you were saying that night he went and did.
Well, we were there for 4 days, and there was one night there was a big VIP party, and that's where I was talking with him at the party, and he was like, "Yeah, I can't stay too long because I have to commentate on the 70.3 World Championships in South Africa, and I have to be on air at like 2 a.m. or something."
Right.
So he missed a whole night of sleep because he had to do this 6 hours of commentary for the Ironman World Championships.
That's gotta be hard.
That was an exciting race too. He did a great job with that commentary. I mean, I love when like you have a good commentator for those 73 distances because it's just short enough where it can still be exciting commentary.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he did a really good job.
That race was epic too, so that doesn't hurt.
Amazing race. Yeah.
Yep.
He seems like he's got a pretty down to earth, but
he's
kind of funny,
friggin' hilarious.
Exactly.
He's just hilarious.
Is that common in triathlon that people are kind of goofy and funny that way?
I wish I could say that was more common.
That's what I thought.
There are some characters in triathlon. There are some characters, but let me put it this way: it's either you are or you aren't in triathlon.
Yeah. There's definitely just lots of different types of funny for sure in triathlon.
There's just a bunch of different people. It's a weird sport in that sense. You get a lot of. I mean, you get your guys who come from road cycling, you get your guys who come from running, you get your guys who come from swimming, and anybody who's been in any three of those sports know those are different human beings. So you got a weird blend of the three.
Different cultures.
Yeah,
coming from different cultures for sure. So
fun.
Yeah, hilarious. It was great to meet him and hang out with him and to race them. The last day he beat me by a full half an hour.
Jeez.
Yeah. I was out there 5 hours, and I think he finished in 4:25 or something.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
So that front group had to be averaging. They're putting out 3:20, 3:30 for the entire race.
I mean, my race averaged 19.5, and they averaged 22 or 23.
Jeez.
Something like that on gravel. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
With climbs.
With climbing, yeah.
So,
Yikes.
Yeah.
Steve Prino, tell me, how did that happen? Just like you're interviewing Matt, and all of a sudden he jumps over your shoulder, and
correct.
Yeah.
We moved away from the stage so we could have some privacy, not any privacy, but we're just sitting on a hay bale, talking to do the voice recording on my iPhone, and all of a sudden Steve Prino's over there,
locks in on you.
Yeah, looking at us both, and he just walked up, and we're like, okay, he's gonna interrupt us. Here we go. So it was.
You handled that pretty well, Lance. Because I'm not gonna lie, that would be a moment I'd be a little bit starstruck. Just having been, I've listened to that guy since I was 8, so there's no way I could handle that situation well.
I'd already had several conversations with him.
Yeah.
So because we set up an interview with him as well, and I did a 13-minute interview with him as well that we'll record at some point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
little teaser for that.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
It's coming.
It's coming. But so I'd already been through my starstruck moment. So where I took the guts to actually walk up to him and says, "Hey, my name's Lance. Are you Steve?" And he was really cool. He'd had a few drinks in him, so he was more willing to talk with me.
Awesome.
Nice.
I like it.
You timed this just right.
Yeah, that's right. I picked my battles.
Well, thank you for doing that, Lance.
You bet.
That was awesome.
Good.
You guys have any other questions for Lance?
Dude, thanks for doing that.
I know.
It takes guts to just walk up to people.
It does.
And it's definitely something that I'm not super comfortable doing. Yeah.
I don't know if I would have done it if my wife hadn't have pushed me. I kept thinking, no, these people don't want to be bothered. And Brandy was like, no, go
cool.
ask them.
Good job, Brandy.
When are you going to have these
Thank you,
opportunities?
Brandy.
I'm like, all right.
Thank you,
just
Brandy.
gonna do it. That's on Brandy.
Very cool. So hopefully we'll get a few more of these interactions with all of us at some point in time in the future, and we'll keep bringing them to you as they pop up.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks for checking in on this little special podcast. We appreciate it. Guys, thank you. And Lance, great job.
You bet.
Yeah, nice work, Lance.
All right, guys. Bye for now.